Hello everyone, I'm Rakesh, and the topic of my paper is traditional irrigation methods and the social relation prior to the introduction of Suez Canal. So through this paper I am just trying to uh, look into the traditional methods of irrigation which was there prior to the introduction of canal system by the British government, and basically what was the purpose they were thinking that they should introduce the canal system in Indian subcontinent, and was it fruitful for them the way they had envisaged, and what was the outcome of that, and particularly the area in which I am doing my research, the Son Canal, which is there in South Bihar. So was it inevitable to introduce a canal system where already we have seen that there was traditional irrigation system? So this is the purpose, that was that fruitful, and was that inevitable to introduce the canal system in that area. So this is basically an attempt to do this. So irrigation has always been a fundamental apparatus in every civilization from the beginning of the humanity, when we started doing agricultural activities. Every civilization we can see that irrigation is very important factor. So like in India itself, the history of irrigation goes back to thousands of years, but how irrigation actually started itself is very difficult question to address. And Bihar was also a place where the agricultural surplus helped in the emergence of the mightiest empire of ancient time. We know about the Magad Empire and Mauryan empires, which certainly was possible only because of suitable irrigation facilities available in the areas concerned. And we have already mentioned of agriculture activities in ancient texts, like in our Shastra, Kautilya has mentioned about the different steps a government or state should be taking to facilitate the agricultural activities. So he in his book Arthashastra has mentioned irrigation as one of the very important duties of the king, and about the importance of irrigation. And the region about which the Kautilya talks is the region of Magad, which is the area of my research, that is the South Bihar. So the people living in South Bihar, particularly in the areas in which the present day Shahabad, Patna, Gaya, and Jahanabad, Aurangabad and Arwal districts are, were very much aware and conscious about the irrigation, and were concerned about the methods to be used for catering the available water resource and applying the water for optimal production from their land. It is well known fact that in the North Bihar the land is comparatively flat from the foothill of Nepal. So that area is comparatively where irrigation is easily accessible due to the regions and the river flowing. But in South Bihar comparatively it is not the case. Like here there was a condition where agriculturists or peasants had to do some effort in order to get waters into their fields, and they were actually dependent on monsoonal rainfall at a considerable extent. Although it is also true that it was impossible to be dependent on monsoon entirely, so there must have been some ways out which the cultivators tried for the irrigation purposes, and this was done by making temporary dams and rivers and by constructing wells. So South Bihar fields were in far greater need of irrigation than the North Bihar, which led the peasants of this area to think about the different methods of irrigation. It was also true that the geographical features of this area allowed them to find suitable ways in catering the water coming from the hilly areas, and also the use of surface water in a very fruitful way. So which kind of agricultural practices are prevalent, and what kind of agricultural methods are being used in particular area is actually dependent on the geographical and climatical condition of the region concerned. So if you talk about the regions in South Bihar, all the districts were having more or less same sort of rainfall pattern, like Gaya or today's Aurangabad, which was there in Gaya, Shahabad and Patna, and with very little bit different geographical landscapes. Shahabad, which was one of the sarkars in the Suba of Bihar, comprised the southwestern portion of the Patna division. We have references in the gazetteers of that time. Shahabad, in which LSS O'Malley, who has written the gazetteer, mentions that this sarkar was physically divided mainly in three different regions. First of them is low-lying alluvial plains along the Ganges, which inundated generally almost every year from the overflow of the river, and this riverine tract, which fertilized by the rich deposit of silt left by the receding water swaths of the principal wheat growing areas of Bihar. And the other tract was flat area of tertiary and alluvial origin, and the formation of this region was of much earlier times as compared to the above mentioned first tract. And the tract was so much fertile, cultivated at large, and was having dense population. And one other important thing was the soil, which was generally very of clay, having clay intermixed with coarse sand, and the soil, some parts of this tract is lighter. And the third tract of this district is constituted with hilly areas. So I will not be going into these in detail. As LS O'Malley mentions that generally 4 classes of soils are recognized in the districts of South Bihar. Number 1 was Keval, which was containing 70% of clay, and Keval soil, which is a species of hard stiff clay opening out when dry and gapping fissures, is cultivated with rice, but it is also suitable for rabi crops, and as it retains moisture for a long period, and rabi has the tendency to depend on the subsoil moisture. Tal is another variety of Keval in the district, particularly in Bard subdivision, which is deeply submerged during the rains to grow rice, and the main product of the soil elsewhere that the season, but yield great rabi crops. So these lands are actually subject to annual inundation from Punpun and the other rivers. And other kinds of soils were Doras and Balsundri, among which Dora soil is low-lying lands, was good for the production of rice and rabi crops, while upland Bhadoi and rabi crops were produced. And the richer Dora soils was known as Bheet or D, which was closer to the village settlement, having better manure and more carefully cultivated. In these lands, well irrigation was prevalent, and the other land which is formed by silt deposit are the most fertile lands in the district, which grow Bhadoi crops before the river rises, and rabi crops in the cold weather. If we talk about the rainfall pattern of these districts in South Bihar, then we come to the fact that there is a considerable variation in rainfall during the months of November to May. Dry weather prevails in rainfall during these months is generally little, and some winter rains occur during January and February due to extra tropical disturbances, but they are very scanty. Southwest monsoon, which extends from mid-June to mid-October, is mainly responsible for the most of the rainfall in these areas. Rainfall in Gaya as compared to the Patna district in its north is less in May, June, and it is more in months of the August and September. We also find that normally monsoon arrives in third week of June, and heaviest rainfall occurs in July and August, and in the next month the monsoons start to weaken off. And the rainy season comes to an end generally in mid of October. And one very important thing is the coming of Hathia rain, which is very beneficial for the rice crop as well as for the preparation of land for rabi sowing. This rain generally occurs in later half of the September and the first half of the October. So after this rain, actually the rice crop ripen, and then that could be cultivated. So the beginning of the rains may be delayed considerably over the whole or large part of the state. Also there are instances of prolonged breaks lasting over greater part of the July and August, and the rain may end considerably earlier than usual, and this kind of irregular and uncertain behavior of rainfall has caused couple of famines in these areas. Now I just wanted to talk about the introduction of Son Canal, that how it started in this area. So it was in 1853 when there was a young engineer called Charles Dickens who was visiting the areas of South Bihar, like the district of Shahabad, and he saw there some people lifting the water from the tanks under the surface and the wells, and he thought that this is sheer waste of the labor, and this could be, if we channelize the water and we can give the options of irrigation and we can create some canals, so this labor could be used in other developmental activities. So he conceived an idea of irrigating Shahabad and the southern part of the Bihar by tapping the surface water of the various streams in the Kaimur range of hills in south of the district. So initially his scheme was to construct a series of reservoirs along the foot of the hills. He was not thinking about the Son river and taking water from Son river. Initially he was thinking that the water could be channelized from the hilly areas. So he thought of constructing a series of reservoirs along the foot of the hills to catch the surface drainage from the rains and to lead the waters of these reservoirs by means of canal over the plain country of the use of for the use during the dry month. And he actually explained the schemes focusing on providing irrigation, which was basically the chief object for him. And he was also thinking that navigation could also be used through this by the canal. Navigation activity could also be utilized, and also the flood could be curtailed. So later he came to know about the Son river, and then the possibility of Son as a source, from to divert water into canals, and then he shifted his schemes to taking water from the Son river. So he submitted a report in 1855 where he elaborated that Son had enough water during the Rabi period to cater to the needs of the area. So he initially was thinking about irrigating Rabi crops through this canal system, although later it failed. He estimated approx 61 lakh rupees in 1855, and next report he submitted in 1861, and it was almost same as was proposed in 1855. Initially it was given to private company, and which was called East India Canal Company, which has already constructed the canals in Orissa. But government took this project from the company in 1868, and it was almost so. Son Canal was finally completed in 1875 by the government itself. So this is how Son Canal actually was completed and introduced in this area. I would just like to mention some land relations before or prior to the introduction of Son Canal. So W. Hunter, in his statistical account of Gaya and statistical account of Shahabad district, has given an account of land relations which was prevalent in the district of South Bihar, and he mentions that similarly as it is there in Bengal, in Bihar too we can find the chain of intermediate landholders. One of them is called Zamidar or Malik, and the other was the actual cultivator, who were called Jotdars or Kashtkar. So intermediate land tenure was between the Malik or Zamidar and the Kashtkar. So this tenure was actually given by Malik or Zamidar to the Kashtkar. And tenures were also of many kinds. Approximately 5 kinds of tenures were there in the South Bihar prior to the introduction of Son Canal. These were known as Mukarari, Dar Mukarari, Thika or Izara, Katkina or Dar Katkina. So Mukarari was actually the tenure which was given by Malik or Zamidar to the actual Rayyat, or you can say the Jotjar or Kashtkar. So in this rent was fixed, and a payment which called as Zare Nazrana, a kind of installation fees, was taken in the beginning itself, and in some cases Zare Peshki, which was a kind of advance payment, was to be paid by a leaseholder to Zamidar as security for the payment of the rent. Even Mukarari tenure was of two types. One was called Istimirari, which was sort of permanent, which was passing from one generation to the other generation, and the other was called Hin Hiyati, which was only till the life of that leaseholder. Then there was Dan Mukarari, which was actually given by Mukarari landholder or leaseholder to the third party. So, and then there were Izara, which was actually the contractual sort of thing. It was very common lease for a definite term, and in this case this stated could have been obtained either from Malik or Mukarridar, and he had to pay advance payment and fixed rent. And Katkina was a tenure similar to the Thika or Izara, but it was given by the Thikadar to some other person. So the Jotdar or cultivators were almost mere tenant at will. It was given by Zamidars, and they were not free holder of those lands. Because abhi hai kya time advance? We are concluding. No? Okay. So just in a few minutes I will be talking about the traditional irrigation system which were prevalent there in Bihar. So before the introduction of Son Canal, because this is very important, that there was already a system of irrigation prevalent in South Bihar, that was the Ahar Pine system, and they were irrigating through digging wells, and Latha Kudi, that there was a system of irrigation, and Serdon, which was that was a box type which was using two people. They were taking from the ahars and putting into the fields. So Basavan Sinha in his books Dynamics of Irrigation and Development suggests that as the distribution of the rainfall does not synchronize with the requirement of the rice crops, supplemental irrigation is required to be provided for having a good yield in earlier days of prior to the construction of Son Canal, a network of indigenous system of irrigation, which was Ahar Pine. It's in very detail, so I'll be just skipping because I don't have time. So they were actually using Ahar Pine. They were just catching the water from the upper surface, and there was natural ahars, and from ahars they were taking the waters to the fields, to their fields. So now, because I don't have time, so I'm just coming to the conclusion that because there was already a traditional system of irrigation, so here there was a question in our mind that why it was inevitable to introduce, or was it required to introduce a Son Canal system or canal system in that area, where we have seen, as Professor Vipul Singh has mentioned in his books Speaking River, that this was the area where Sher Shah Suri was there, and from that revenue which he collected from that area, he went on to the throne of Delhi after defeating Humayun. So this was absolutely an area where revenue was being generated before the introduction of Son Canal. So was that important or inevitable to introduce the Son Canal? So although Britishers, and there are so many records where they tried to say that it was very beneficial for the cultivators or peasants, and the productivity increased, but if we go to the settlement reports, we find that this was the area where we can see that improvement in productivity from the time of Mughal period. Like time to time, the productivity was increasing, even land revenue was increasing. So it was not only the Son Canal which actually helped in increasing the productivity or land revenue. It was already there. Another, so there were so many complaints of Son Canal. After the introduction of Son Canal, it soon became clear that from a financial point of view, the Son Canal has not fulfilled the expectation of even the constructors, and at the same time, the feeling of irrigation had been rankling among the people from very beginning of the canal irrigation, as their old system of irrigation had been destroyed, and canal officers were now collecting the water rate oppressively. So this had manifested itself an agitation against canals, and a committee was formed in 1887, and it found a very interesting fact that which came to the surface was the old Ahar system of irrigation working so efficiently before the canal construction was deliberately destroyed. So they were saying that in 1996 when famine came, so Son Canal actually was the thing which saved this area. But as we can find from the different reports that it was deliberately destroyed, like the previous system of irrigation or Ahar's pine system was deliberately destroyed in order to construct the Son Canal, because there were some people in the British administration who were saying that simultaneously both the irrigation system could not work. एक को ही रहना होगा क्योंकि दोनों ही सस्टेनेबल है, सफल है. तो इस लिहाज से we can say that this was not benefiting, although there are some references where we can find that in some areas it was very helpful, but if they are destroying the traditional irrigation system and replacing it with the canal system, then I think it could not be said that it was beneficial and it was for the benefit of the agents of that area. Thank you.